Hello and welcome, all of you, to my YouTube channel, Pet Talk with Partha. It is my immense pleasure to come to you and on this subject which has been very close to my heart all my life. I have been actively involved in the world of pets for the last 50 years. Though my family, for the last 5 generations, have been intimately involved with the keeping of pets of various kinds. My father, who is my mentor and who has actually directly influenced me in the world of pets. I remember my first book on dogs that I read were what my father brought back in 1953 when he had come and those books were preserved. And when I came of age, those were the first dog books, dog magazines, Our Dog, whatever, that he had brought along after his education stint in the UK. So anyway, life has been good to me. I have been able to pursue my passion. And for the last 35 years, I have been a national and international dog judge, which has taken me to numerous countries around the world. I have also been fortunate that professionally I was involved for the last 40 years, and I'm still today. I have been running a veterinary polyclinic with surgery and have been in close association, worked for the treatment and care of pet animals over these years. In this course of time, I have come across thousands of pet owners, pet lovers, and their varied problems. We have endeavored to solve them, and that has enriched me. And today I come to you with all my experience. Also, when I have traveled abroad, I have been visiting various kennels, various dog breeding farms, various other animal breeding farms, pet animal breeding farms, racing pigeon lofts, big pet markets, then commercial exotic bird breeding farms, whether it's in South Africa or in Australia or in New Zealand, wherever I was given the opportunity, I have always been where animals were. That is how I spent my time abroad. Always trying to gain knowledge and experience, which actually has been my passion and which was only for the sake of my own satisfaction. And now, spending time with pet animals, I thought I spent a good day and it was all worth it. But I never thought that someday I would get a platform like the YouTube today, that I would be able to share all my experiences, all my journey in the pet world from the scratch from where I started. In the times when I started to learn about dogs, which was somewhat 50 years ago, in those times it was so difficult to gather knowledge. You had only books, and just by reading books, you cannot fly an aircraft. So just books was not enough. So we had to go to our mentors. We had to find our own mentors, and hours and hours and hours of sitting in front of our mentors and asking him numerous questions, and he would answer maybe one or two and just let you know. So, this is the way we learned whatever little we learned. Means today, of course, the things are different. But in those times, it was the mentors, and the process was very slow. It was very hard work. But that was all very enjoyable. And there was no instant benefit. Whatever you learned in those days, where I spent the time, a time when people would be actually running after making a career. But I was so obsessed with my passion, with my love for animals, that just running after money was never my idea. And that's why I could spend those valuable years which I had thought, which my parents thought, and my relations thought that I was wasting. But today, I feel I am very honored to be in a situation where I can address a channel from where at least a few people may benefit from the talks that I give on this channel. I would expect that if you like my channel, please do subscribe. Then there's a bell button. If you press the bell button, I will be letting you know all that I upload on Pet Talk with Partha. And then, of course, the other part is you have to like what I say. If you do like it, then you must press the like button, which is very important to me. And then, if you feel that this could be shared with pet lovers, your pet loving friends, it will be wonderful. What I feel that I would be doing is I will be trying to bring to you some connoisseurs, from different fields. Some great judges, some great breeders, some not only of dogs but of various kinds, from cat breeders to horse breeders to exotic bird breeders and other animal breeders, pigeon breeders, and and dog breeders, of course. My primary intention is to reach out to the new owners of pets. The new owners of pets are the people who need the most help. Because being in this industry, I know the problems that the industry faces. And the people who go to acquire a pet, the problems that confront them. I have been handling this over 40 years. And so what I share with you is just my personal experience. It is not borrowed. And in doing so, I may sort of encroach on some other professional people who would may feel hurt that I am not actually endorsing them. But my primary concern is the pet owner. So anything that I say will be in favor of the pet owner. I will try to give him all the advice possible so that he is in a position to handle any situation that may arise in trying to bring up a pet, whether it be dog or cat or bird or whatever. And then the great people, the experts that would will join me from time to time, would most of them be my acquaintances and many dear friends. The pet industry in our country is an unorganized sector. Our administration and our government has never paid a great deal of importance to this industry, which directly and indirectly employs hundreds and thousands of people around the country. The bird breeding, the breeding of exotic birds, which is spread all over the country, is a very, very lucrative business. And many people find gainful employment by breeding these exotic birds. But the government has no policies or no way to regulate this industry. Similarly, dog breeders and breeders of other pets like cats and other things, which the growing interest of pets in this country is tremendous. It is one of the fastest growing pet industry in the world. Dogs, of course, hold a special place in this pet industry. And most of the people around the world the first priority in pets is, of course, dogs. Because dogs become a part of the family. They become like your own child. And they are all the time wanting to please their master. And that is why, from thousands and thousands of years, they have remained the faithful friends of man. And finally, they have been given the name as man's best friend. Have been close to my heart. For many years, maybe a decade or so, the importation of dogs is totally banned in our country. But dogs have been smuggled in all these years through the porous borders of Nepal and Bangladesh. And this has been happening in front of the eyes of the administration. Let me tell you that all pets, the industry of pets, and the exotic pets that have been developed by man are very developed in other countries. And in order to breed quality stock, we need to import from time to time so that we can upgrade our breeding and our stock, which should be acceptable and sort of attractive not only to our markets in India, but so that we can compete in exporting these to other countries as well. So we need the government not to allow us to smuggle and deprive the government of valuable revenue, but we want the government to look into our industry and sort of have a rational plan and regulate it so that we are able to import legally and also export legally. So all the paperwork and all that is required must be monitored and must be helped and promoted by the government and our local administration. Now we go into the subject of selecting the puppy. So let's share a few tips on how to go about when you are looking at a puppy that you want to take home. When you look at the puppy and go in for a physical examination, the first thing you should look at is whether the dog has a correct bite. Most dogs have a Caesar bite. It's a bite like this, where the upper teeth fits into the lower teeth is just inside, and the upper teeth just overlaps the lower teeth. But in the parrot mouth, it is an overshot bite. Means the upper jaw shoots out here. This is the parrot mouth, or you can call it overshot mouth. So this is to be avoided. If you see a puppy like that, please don't take. Next comes, you open the mouth and you see whether the dog has a cleft palate or not. Inside the mouth, you open the mouth and you find a gap. So that is a cleft palate. That means if the dog eats, you will find food coming out. So that is sort of a puppy you would not like to take. So the mouth, when it closes, should clean like this. This is how it should clamp down. This is very important. First thing that you look at a puppy. Other than, of course, the brightness, the agility and all that I've already told you about. Then the gums should be of bright pink color. Never pale. You should have a bright pink color gums. The eyes include the irises, the color, shape and everything, should be liquid brown eyes. Or in some breeds, of course, it is better if you can look at a breed standard. There's some breeds like Siberian Huskies and all that have different color, blue eyes and different things like that. So there is a breed standard for every dog, which we will go into later on. and we will take up each breed after breed. Including the bite issue that I told you, in some breeds, the bites are different. Like the Lhasa Apso is a reverse scissor bite. It's just opposite of the scissor bite. It's a reverse scissor bite. Then for boxers, it's slightly undershot. And then, for Bostons, Bulldogs, and things like that, the bites are different. So it's in standard. So the standard actually describes every dog and every portion. So it is best, it is easy. Just a click of your mouse and you get to that breed standard. It's just a few lines. Just look at the bite, what the bite should be, educate yourself, and then go about selecting your puppy. Then the next one is smell the ears. The ears should not have any foul smell, which means there is infection in the ears. So that should also be avoided. Then you have to lift the dog and see the abdomen. If you have any swelling, which is called an umbilical hernia, that also, they're very small, and you can understand. If you're an expert, you will understand it will go. But in most cases, they seem to keep growing, and then it becomes a surgical intervention has to happen. So I think you as a new dog owner would like to avoid any such situation. Then run your fingers down the tail to see if it's broken, there's some broken part like this. So that also must be avoided. Then comes, you must try to see signs of vomiting. If a dog shows any signs of vomiting, or you see that, around the anus, you lift the tail and you see there's any signs of diarrhea, please don't touch those dogs. Those dogs are not to be taken. So these are some of the small things that I can tell you. You as a novice owner must look at all this beforehand. But then, if you go to a reputable breeder, there you can look at the puppies correctly when they're, free and playing with the mother. You can also maybe see the father, or if he doesn't have the father with him, maybe use the outside stud. You can always request the address and go and have a look at the father also. So this is it will take some time, but then a time well spent, because for the next 10 to 15 years, you have to be looking after that puppy, loving that puppy. You know exactly what you have bought. But when you go to a seller, pet shop and other things, you are just told everything good about that little dog. It is because all the best dogs in the pedigree are there and everything. This situation is very alarming, and we came to this in earlier days. This was not so in our country. It was the breeders, because the Kennel Club always announced the litters. Once the litters were born, you were supposed to send in your registration immediately, and it came with all the details of breeder, sire, this, that. It all was enlisted for the name. So you immediately know this person has a litter of puppies, and this is the father, this is the mother, and you can trace back the numbers are there, everything is there, contacts are there. So you have time and you know. But all that has gone. So it's all clandestine. You don't know where, suddenly you know who our father. It's only that paper that you get and a microchip, which means nothing. That microchip is pushed into any dog, and that paper will belong to that dog, or that microchip will belong to their, the paper. So that's it. So it is very advisable. Please make sure that you do get a puppy from the breeder. I strongly discourage you from buying from sellers, unknown sellers, because they don't know anything. They themselves may not be knowing anything about dogs, but they're only interested in the selling. And once they sell the dog to you, you look at the dog, you maybe impulsively buy it, and that's the end of it. You can't return it. And even if you finally do manage to give, people give them back free because they can't take care of it, or they have some defects. So avoiding all these problems, I would suggest that please go to a breeder and not buy from pet shop. When you buy from pet shops, Another point you must make sure, means keep in mind, you are only encouraging backyard breeders. Breeders who don't want you to come to their home to buy a dog. They are better off selling it to pet shops, and the pet shops will put it in their cage and sell them to you over, show it in the internet and things like that, and want to get rid of and sell and make a fast buck. So then, see, we are going to do next. We will go into the topic of now. We take it that you have already bought a dog. The puppy is yours, and now you want to find ways to look after it. So we are going to deal with the next part in our next episode, as how do you feed the puppy, and how do you take care of it, and how do you train it, and all that will come in parts and parts and parts, and will contain videos and demonstrations, and it will all be very interesting as how you go about taking care of it. So this is about dogs, but then we are going to go into all types of pets. Pets means we are going to bird breeders. We've been breeding birds for a long time, but of course we are not very big in bird breeding. But I have friends who are really big. Some people are breeding only lovebirds, some are breeding all varieties of birds, some are breeding cockatoos, some are breeding macaws. So I would like to bring into my conversation and discussions, and those personalities who would be talking with me and sharing their knowledge, which we will share with you so that you get enlightened. And I enlightened also myself. So we're going to also be doing other pets. Other pets means pigeons, racing pigeons, fancy pigeons. So there are various types of pets that we're going to go in one after the other, and it will all get more and more interesting as we pile up some episodes. And I should be getting back to you all the time, maybe twice a week, hopefully, and maybe more. So please tune into my channel, subscribe to it, press the bell button, share, and also like it. Your one like is important for us. And then put in questions. And let us know what you want to know from us. So we're going to make videos of those, and that will be interesting to you, and it'll give me a lot of pleasure to be able to be of any kind of help. Thank you very much. We close for today, but we come back again soon with a new episode. And finally, I am also going to talk in Hindi and also in Bengali. So in this Pet Talk with Partha, we are going to have English, Hindi, and Bengali. So the three languages which I can speak, may not be very fluent, but I can manage to sort of communicate and try and explain to you what I want to say, and hopefully make things interesting as we go. Bye-bye. We sign off.